What is going on, everyone? My name is the California Cougar, and today I'm going to be doing something a little bit different. I'm not going to be doing anything movie related in this video or talking about anything movie related. Today I'm going to be talking about one of my favorite shows, Survivor. That is right, we have a new season of Survivor, season 38, Survivor Edge of Extinction, coming out later this month. And now you might be wondering, wait, what's with the Diamondbacks hat and the Giants flag behind you? I'm going to talk about that in a different video, but for now, I'm just going to stay focused on Survivor. So, main thing I'm going to be talking about is some of the cast, mainly the 4 returnees, because we have 4 returnees coming back this season. And I'll be talking about the twist, like basically Edge of Extinction. Why is it called that? What is the twist that has to do with that? I'll be getting into that a little bit as well. But anyway, let's start with the cast first. I'm going to start with the 4 returning players. The 4 returning players are Aubrey Bracco, or Bracco, I don't know how to pronounce her last name, but Aubrey from Survivor Co. Wrong and Survivor Game Changers. And then you got David Wright from Survivor Millennials vs. Gen X. You got Kelly Wentworth from Survivor San Juan del Sur and Survivor Cambodia. And then finally you have Joe Anglem from Survivor Worlds Apart and Survivor Cambodia. So, what do I think of these returnees? For the most part, I do like them. I really like the choices that they made. Again, for the most part, I'll get into each one of them here. I'll start off with Aubrey. So Aubrey is kind of a mixed bag for me. I wasn't really a huge fan of her in Survivor Co. Wrong. I thought she got way too overconfident at times. She was the underdog at first, which I liked. But then she kind of got really cocky and got really full of herself. And people were pampering to her later on. And I didn't like her at the end of the season. I'm going to be completely honest. I didn't like her. Should she have won? Honestly, no. I would agree with that. Michelle should have won that season. I thought Michelle was super underrated that season. As for Game Changers, I liked Aubrey a little bit more in Game Changers, although she didn't really do anything strategic like she did in Co. Wrong, at least for the first half of that season. But yeah, she didn't really do too much in Game Changers. I mean, she had her little alliance with Ty, like she did in Co. Wrong, but other than that, there really wasn't much to her. She went out in 5th place, which is about where I would have expected her to go out, like based on what she was doing in the season. So yeah. Now coming back for a 3rd season, she says she's going to play a lot harder than she did in the previous seasons, and she said that she's going to play like a veteran should play, which is like maybe the new members will look up to you at first, but if you fall in love or anything, like if you look up to them like a celebrity, like say for example like Natalie and Boston Rob in Redemption Island. If you get too close to them, then that's where they're going to vote you out. So, yeah, that's the way Aubrey seems like she's going to be playing. So, I mean, I'm looking forward to seeing Aubrey back. I think, even though she's kind of a mixed bag for me, I am looking forward to see what she'll do a 3rd time. How far do I think she'll go? Honestly, I don't know if she's going to last very long. Like, I think people might not see her as a threat at first, but I don't think she gets too far past the merge. And sometimes when you have only 4 new players and 4 returning players and 14 new players, that's what I meant to say. The new players outnumber the returning players. They might want to vote out the returning players because they see him as too big of a threat. Or they could use him as a shield. Either way, I don't know if she will have what it takes to win. Up next, we have David Wright. Now, David Wright, he was one of my favorites in Millennials vs. Gen X. He went from underdog to top dog like that. He's one of the greatest underdog stories in Survivor history. He's part of the reason why Survivor Millennials vs. Gen X was so good. It was such a memorable season because of him. And I can't wait to see what he does this season. Like, I don't know how he's going to adapt to the elements again. Like, he had a pretty hard time adapting to the elements his first time out. That's why he was such an underdog. Like, there were people that wanted to vote him off first in Millennials vs. Gen X. So I am curious to see, like, what he does. Of course, by the end of the season, people were afraid of him because he was always fighting idols. And he was always making these big alliances, and he had a great resume. If he had made the final three, he would have won that season, for sure. So yeah, I am curious to see what David Wright does this season. And no, I don't mean David Wright like the baseball player. The baseball player for the New York Mets, he's a completely different person. But yeah, David Wright. I can't wait to see what he does this season. Very excited to see him come back. Up next, you have Kelly Wentworth, aka my celebrity survivor crush. Like, she actually is. But yeah, she was in San Juan del Sur. She didn't do too well in that season. Like, her and her dad both got voted off pretty early on in the season. A lot of people saw her as like a snake in the first season, which is part of the reason she was voted off so quickly. But then she came back and surprised everyone in Survivor Cambodia by making it all the way to the Final Four. And had she made the finals, I think there's a good chance she would have won. But yeah, she was a huge threat. She was always fighting idols. She was playing like a sneaky girl, which I really liked. She was a lot of fun to watch. She was winning immunity challenges here and there. And yeah, she was just overall fun to watch. She was one of the biggest surprises of Survivor Cambodia. And I can't wait to see what she does this season. I mean, she clearly looks like the strongest woman out there. And it seems like she was really strategic last season. So it seems like fans, like the new players, are going to want to keep her around for a while. That's just me, but that's what it seems like to me. So yeah, Kelly Wentworth, very excited to see her again this season. And then finally, we have Joe Anglem. Now, Joe Anglem, I absolutely loved Joe Anglem. The problem with him is he's just too damn strong. And, like, if Cambodia is any indication, people are going to want to get rid of him either before the merge or, like, as soon as he loses his first immunity challenge. So, yeah, I am very worried about Joe this season. Like, he says he's going to change up his strategy a lot, going to play more strategic, and I hope he does. But that doesn't change the fact that he's really good at immunity challenges, and people are going to want to get rid of him for that, because he's just going to win too many immunity challenges. Although there are some people that still think immunity challenges, like, they're winning too many immunity challenges. We got to get rid of them. But what people don't realize is no one has ever won every single immunity challenge. I mean, Joe was probably the closest to do that. Either him or Ozzy or sometimes even, or like Terry from Panama. But yeah, like, I don't think anyone has ever won every single immunity challenge in Survivor. Now, can Joe do that? Yes, he absolutely can, but I don't think he will. So yeah, my hope for him, I hope he looks for an immunity idol because he's definitely going to need one if he wants to keep himself alive for long enough. I just hope he makes the merge at least. Now, of these four survivors, which one do I think will make it the farthest? Honestly, my money's on Wentworth again. Like, I think she would be the most likely. I think David's probably the weakest of the four coming back. So I don't know if that'll play a huge role in him being voted off pre-merge. I feel like he'd be the most likely to be voted off pre-merge of the four, but I mean, who knows? Anything can happen. I'm usually wrong with my Survivor predictions, so yeah, I could very well be wrong with this one as well. And yeah, I think Joe, once again, I think he could be an early merge boot or maybe even a late pre-merge boot. I don't know. And then Aubrey is just, like, I really don't know where Aubrey's going to end up. She could be anywhere from first out to Final Four. Who knows where she's going to end up. Like, we don't know. But anyway, let's get into some of the other cast here. So we got Wendy Diaz. Now, she's 25. She's from LA. And she's a small business owner. I mean, I saw her in the preview for Edge of Extinction, like at the end of season 37 when they showed the preview. She was one of the two that were featured. And I gotta be honest, I found her voice kind of annoying. So I hope she's not that way. I hope I'm wrong, but who knows. But we'll see how she does. Up next, we got Dan the War Dog De Silva. And he's 38. He's from New York, or Ossining, New York. Although he's living in LA. And by the way, Wendy, she's living in Bell, California. But yeah, Dan, he's living in LA right now. He's a law student, former military officer. So he's a big, strong guy. So seems like the guy that might make the merge, might be out early merge. Who knows? We'll see how he does. Up next, we got Aurora McCreary. Say that name 5 times fast. But yeah, Aurora McQuarrie. She is 32. She's from Pensacola, Florida, although she's living in Orlando right now, and she's a divorce lawyer. So yeah, it seems like she might be one of the stronger girls out there. She looks a lot more fit than some of the other ones. But yeah, we will see how she does. Again, I don't really know anything about any of the new guys. I haven't watched any of their videos or anything to see what they do. But yeah, Aurora McCreary. Like, again, say that name 5 times fast because it's super complicated. We'll see how she does. Up next, we have Chris Underwood. Now, is it just me, or does Chris Underwood look a lot like Dan from last season? Because he does. Like, I'll show you guys the picture here. Like, does that not look like Dan from last season? I don't know. That's just me. Anyway, actually, I should probably show you some of the pictures of the other contestants. So, yeah. That's Wendy, and then you got Dan, the War Dog, and then you got Aurora. So, yeah. Anyway, Chris Underwood, he's 25. He's from Myrtle Beach, South Carolina. He's currently living in Greenville, South Carolina. He's a district sales manager. So, yeah, Chris Underwood seems like a guy that could be. Hopefully, he's not the Dan of this season. I mean, I wasn't a huge fan of Dan last season, but I mean, maybe he could prove everybody wrong. So, yeah, we'll see. Up next, we got Lauren O'Connell. That's her picture right there, and she is 21, so one of the younger ones of the season. She's from Bakersfield, but she lives in Waco, Texas, and she's a student at Baylor University right now. So, just a college student. So, yeah, they always have at least one college student every season, it seems like now. Although, actually, Millennials vs. Gen X had a high school student, which was pretty cool. But, yeah, college student. So, we'll see. We'll see where this one goes. Again, don't really know too much about her. Up next, we have Keith Soul. Soul? I don't know how you pronounce his name. I don't know. But, yeah, that's him right there. He's 19, so I think he's the youngest one of the season, and he's from Fayetteville, North Carolina, and he's living in Durham, North Carolina, and he's a pre-med student, so he's another student, a young guy. And young guys, they're hit or miss usually. Sometimes they're really good, sometimes they're really not so good. We'll see how he does this season. Up next, you got Julie Rosenberg. That's her right there. And then she's 46, so she's one of the older ones this season. She's from Baltimore, but she is currently living in New York, and she's a toy maker. So a toy maker, that's different. So yeah, kind of a different occupation. Could she be the crazy one this season, like Debbie? Kill me. Let's hope not, because I could not stand Debbie. So yeah. Up next, we got Gavin Whitson. So that's him right there. Yeah, nice tattoo on your shoulder there, by the way. He's 23. He's from Irwin, Tennessee, and he's currently living in Irwin, Tennessee. And he's a YMCA program director. So basically seems like a gym guy. So pretty fit. A lot of people are saying that he could be the underdog of the season. I don't know, but we will see once he gets out there. Up next, we have Julia Carter. So we have a Julie and a Julia this season. That's Julia Carter right there. She's 24, from Hazleton, Pennsylvania. She is living in Bethesda, Maryland. I don't know how to pronounce that. Bethesda, Maryland. She's a medical assistant, so basically a doctor. And it seems like we have doctors a lot this season. Like we had Allison last season. She was a doctor. Now we have Julia, the doctor of this season. But again, don't really know too much about her, so we'll see where he goes next. Up next, we have Eric Halfman. Eric Halfman. I'm just gonna say that's him right there. So it looks like one of the more physical players this season. He's 34. He's from Chicago. Currently lives in Livermore, California, and he's a firefighter. So yeah, one of the more physical guys of the season. So we'll see how he does in all those immunity challenges. We'll keep an eye on him. All right, up next we have Reem Daly. So Reem Daly, that's her right there. She's one of the older women this season. She's 46, from Fairfax, Virginia. Currently living in Ashburn, Virginia, and she's a salesperson. So yeah, occupation, salesperson, seems like something that would be more of a David, and she kind of looks like a David. She's one of the more, and by David I mean like David versus Goliath David. So she seems like she's going to be an underdog this season. But again, we will see where she goes. Up next, we have another guy that was featured in the preview of Survivor, and that is Rick Devens. That's him right there. He is 33, from Blacksburg, Virginia, lives in Macon, Georgia, and he's a morning news anchor. And yeah, he was featured on the preview as well, so we'll see how he does. He seems like he's going to be a more strategic guy, maybe some of the physical aspects as well, but again, we will see. Up next, we have Victoria Beaumont, or Beaumont. Like, it's got two A's in it. I don't know how to pronounce it. But yeah, that's her right there. So, she's a younger female contestant. She's 23, from Bronx, New York, currently living in Bronx, New York, and she's a waitress. So, yeah, another kind of different occupation, a waitress. But yeah, so I'll be curious to see how she does. I got to hear her talk a little bit. There was actually a video of her that I saw, and she said she's gonna play like more strategic but more tactical. So we'll see how she does this season. And up next, you got Ron Clark, one of the older men this season. There he is right there. He's 46. He's from Chocowinity, North Carolina, and he's living in Atlanta, and he's a teacher at the Ron Clark Academy. So he actually has his own academy. So I think that's pretty cool, if you ask me. Now, how well do I think he'll do? I don't know. One of the older men this season, so we'll see if they keep the older guys around or if they vote him off right away. Hopefully they keep him around. I like seeing, this is a pretty young cast compared to last season. I mean, it's not as young as the Ghost Island cast, but it's still up there. So, yeah, we'll see how he does. And then after that, we just have our 4 returnees coming back. So, yeah. And up next, we have the tribes. So, on the Kama tribe. The Kama tribe is the first tribe. We have Julie, Gavin, Aurora, Ron, Victoria, Eric, Julia, and then the returnees are Aubrey and Joe. And then on the Manu tribe, you've got Wendy, Wardog, Kelly, Chris, David, Keith, Reem, Rick, and Lauren. So, yeah, Kelly and David are the returnees on that tribe. So, those are the tribes. Now I'm just going to get into the twist a little bit. So, basically what the twist of this season is basically once you're voted off, you have a choice to make. You can either leave the game, or you could go live on Extinction Island, which is like a remote island in the middle of nothing. There's basically nothing out there, but if you go to Extinction Island, you'll have a chance to return to the game. And from what I've heard, you can leave Extinction Island at any time. And then I think at the merge, and then again on day 36, I think is when they'll have a challenge for all the players that are out there, and then one of them can return to the game. So that twist I am a little bit skeptical about, because to me it sounds a lot like Redemption Island, which I am not a huge fan of at all. The first Redemption Island season was my guilty pleasure season, but that's mainly because of Philip Shepard. He always made me laugh. So even though it was kind of a boring season, it was still entertaining as hell to watch. And then you got South Pacific, which to me is the worst Survivor season of all time. I hate that season so much. It's absolute garbage. And then you have Blood versus Water, which to me is one of the most overrated seasons of all time. And Redemption Island is part of the reason I think it's so overrated. Because, like, it just stirred up way too much drama. People can give away a lot of things. Luckily for for Extinction Island, it doesn't seem like they're going to be having duels every episode. So maybe they'll have room for a reward challenge instead of a duel. And, like, you don't have people watching the duels or anything. So, like, I don't know if Jeff's going to tell people, like, if they went to Extinction Island or not. So maybe people won't know until the very end, like, who's on Extinction Island. So I guess it's kind of a mix between Redemption Island and, like, maybe the Outcast twist. Although that twist didn't work out either. Because, yeah, the Outcasts, like, they went really far into the game. So, yeah, and, like, yeah, I was not a huge fan of the Outcast twist in Pearl Islands. That's part of the reason why I think that season is another overrated season. So, yeah, I'm very skeptical about this twist, but I do have faith that it could work. Hopefully it does work. But, yeah, that's really the only analysis I really have for Survivor Edge of Extinction. Am I looking forward to it? Yeah, but not as much as other seasons. And another concern I have about this season is, like, every time we have, like, 2, 3, or 4 returnees and then all new players, like, the season hasn't really worked out so well. Like, Redemption Island and South Pacific, and then, what was the other season? Philippines. Okay, Philippines, I'll take, like, Philippines I actually liked, but, like, other seasons like that, Guatemala was another season that did that, and I just was not a fan of those seasons at all. So, yeah. And it's because, like, every time at least one of the returnees has made it to the finale. At least one. Sometimes more than one. Like in, what season was it? South Pacific. Both returnees made it to the finale. To the final 4. So, yeah, that does scare me a little bit. Because it could be very predictable. It's every time, like, we've had someone make it to the finale. So, yeah, that part I am a little bit skeptical about. I'm skeptical about the Extinction Island twist. But overall, I mean, it is a season of Survivor. I love Survivor, so hopefully this season will surprise me, and hopefully it could rank up there as one of the better seasons to feature, like, an island twist that's not like Exile Island. So, yeah. What do you guys think about Survivor Edge of Extinction? Make sure to let me know down in the comments below. Are you looking forward to it? Are you not looking forward to it? Are you excited about the returning players? Do you wish it was all new players? Do you like the 4 returning players that are coming back? Are there any of them you really don't like and really don't want to see win? Again, let me know down in the comments below. And make sure to subscribe to my channel for more videos to come in the future. Like I said before, I am going to do a Major League Baseball video at some point. And I actually do have a San Francisco Giants jersey that I'll be wearing in that video. So yeah, make sure to stay tuned for that video coming up. And until the next video, once again, my name is the California Cougar. And always remember, stay California cool. Peace.